Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to turn fascinating sources into, well, clear and compelling insights for you.
And today we've got a really gripping one.
Absolutely. We are plunging into the dramatic narrative of Penny Rudolph's Listen to the Mockingbird.
Hmm.
And this isn't, just another historical novel. It feels much deeper. It's a journey into the life of Matilda Summerhayes Maddie, as she becomes known.
Right, navigating the New Mexico territory in the 1860s.
Yeah.
A really treacherous time and place.
Exactly. So our mission today is to unpack all these layers, the mystery, her incredible resilience, the personal transformation she goes through.
Yeah, she confronts this world that's, well, both incredibly beautiful and incredibly dangerous.
We want to pull out those core insights, the surprising truths about what women faced in the American West, the hidden agendas kind of lurking everywhere.
It's a story that really unfolds, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like a complex tapestry. You've got personal trauma, huge historical shifts, and this powerful sense of place all woven together.
You can say that again. Her path takes some really unexpected turns. Let's get into it.
Okay.
So Maddie's origin story. That's probably the last place you'd picture a future New Mexico rancher coming from.
Definitely. A castle in Dürnstein, Austria. Pretty drafty and ancient, apparently.
Right. And her father, quite progressive for the time, actually taught her accounts dispute resolution. Like she was the son he never had.
Which was highly unusual. And then you have her grandmother, Nanny.
Ah, yes, the eccentric nanny
Yeah.
taught her the flute. Seems like a small detail, but it comes back later.
It does. And all this just clashed completely with her mother's ideas about what a young woman should be, those rigid societal expectations.
So how crucial is this sort of unusual upbringing, in setting the stage for what Maddie becomes later?
Well, it's fundamental. Rudolph subtly shows how, for women back then, especially out west, those traditional roles just, well, they often had to break down simply for survival.
Mm-hmm.
Her father, by teaching her practical skills like accounting, negotiation, things like that, he unknowingly gave her tools she desperately needed later, even while her mother pushed for, conventional femininity.
It's like he armed her without realizing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a great example of how that early, unconventional education can build unexpected resilience.
A powerful observation. But her past, it also holds this really, really dark chapter. Her marriage to Andrew Collins.
Ugh, Andrew.
She was initially charmed, by his Irish dash, as the book says. But she found out pretty fast his high good spirits were mostly alcohol.
Yeah, and that led straight to escalating violence. It wasn't just physical either.
No. Can you maybe paint a picture of just how extreme his psychological torment became? It's quite disturbing.
It really is. We're talking about just shocking incidents. He steals a hat, slaps Maddie, then offers to chop off his own hand. It's this twisted kind of remorse.
Horrifying.
But then it gets worse. Playing Russian roulette with her, tying her up, threatening her with knives, just this constant psychological warfare.
It's unimaginable.
And the absolute turning point, the thing that, well, it's hard to even talk about, was when he killed their puppy, Patch, violently. Smashed him against the fireplace.
Oh, that's just devastating. It really hammers home the brutality she endured.
It does. And this backstory, this trauma, it's crucial because it shows the depth of what she survived and why she was so desperate for change, for escape. Sometimes the biggest transformations come from the deepest pain,
Absolutely. So after surviving all that, you'd hope she finds some peace.
You would.
But no. Her arrival in the New Mexico territory, now as Matilda Summerhayes, just throws her straight into a new, chilling mystery, almost immediately.
Right. She buys this ranch near Mesilla through her friend Jamie O'Rourke.
And she doesn't love it at first, calls it a rude place, dislikes the foot-thick adobe walls, feels she's in a sordid state.
Understandable, given what she'd been through. But then things get really strange, fast.
Yeah, that tremendous loud crack. And then a man, bloodied, appears at her window. Diego Ramirez.
He collapses, dies in her barn. His mule dies too. Just boom. Welcome to New Mexico.
What's the significance of this gruesome first encounter in her new life?
Well, it's the immediate catalyst, isn't it? The death of this stranger pulls Maddie right into the danger and unpredictability of the territory. It signals her new life won't be peaceful at all.
And it introduces the map.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Found in a little leather sack around Diego's neck, this yellowed fool's cap, that old type of large paper with these cryptic Spanish words on it.
Arroyo, fuente, sinsonte, cuevas, stream, spring, mockingbird, caves.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like directions.
And Nacho, her new foreman, he's really reluctant to go to the sheriff about Diego's death.
Yeah, he mentions the shabby treatment Mexicans get from the law.
What does that immediate reaction tell us about the climate Maddie's just walked into?
Oh, it's incredibly revealing. Right away, it shows the complex power dynamics, the deep-seated prejudices of the time and place.
So justice isn't exactly impartial there.
Not at all, especially if you were an Anglo. This distrust of the official channels, it basically forces Maddie to handle things herself right from the start, shapes her character, her choices. It's a subtle insight into frontier law reality.
So Maddie's just arrived carrying this brutal past, and bam, murder mystery, cryptic map, prejudiced law enforcement.
And that's really just setting the stage.
Because the whole political landscape is also incredibly unstable. Jamie O'Rourke, her friend, the surveyor who helped her get the ranch.
Yeah, he drops this bombshell about the Convention of the People of Arizona.
They're actively trying to join the Confederacy.
Right. And Jamie himself clearly has Confederate sympathies. He's whistling Dixie.
So what does this divided backdrop, this simmering conflict mean for Maddie and her new ranch?
It's absolutely essential context. The West during the Civil War was incredibly tumultuous. Jamie whistling Dixie. It's subtle, but it shows how blurred the lines are. Friend, foe. It's hard to tell.
Makes owning property pretty precarious, I imagine.
Definitely. It affects everything, daily life, property values. Her ownership is shaky from day one because of this wider conflict.
And into this mix walks Tonio Bernini.
Tonio.
Yeah.
The enigmatic drifter.
Maddie kind of unexpectedly lets him bite a spell, camp out in the caves on her land.
Which is a risk, really. But he's interesting. Doesn't carry a rifle, but he knows plants, traps, slingshots. Very self-sufficient.
And he becomes a healer, right, in an area with no doctors.
Exactly. He feels this critical need. And, Maddie finds herself feeling this attraction towards him, something she's clearly suppressed for a long time after Andrew.
So what does Tonio's presence bring to her isolated world? Is he an ally? A complication?
Both, probably. He represents this different kind of knowledge, rooted in the land itself, very different from Maddie's world.
A contrast.
A huge contrast. His skills are practical, vital there. But, yeah, on a deeper level, his presence isn't just a potential alliance. It starts to awaken something in Maddie herself, forces her to confront her own desires, her own sort of wildness, maybe, in a world where practicality usually has to win.
While she's dealing with all that internally, the ranch itself comes under attack.
Yeah, it's relentless. Confederate Lieutenant Morris just takes her horses.
The war literally riding onto her doorstep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then there's a severe drought. Crops are failing. Everyone's worried about Mockingbird Spring, the main water source.
And then Maddie herself gets attacked, knocked out in her own barn.
It's this constant barrage. Natural threats, man-made threats, war, weather, violence.
What do these escalating pressures signify? Are they connected?
It seems like it. They show the huge dangers Maddie faces, just trying to hold on as a woman alone running a ranch there. The Confederates taking horses shows the war's direct impact. The drought shows the environmental struggle.
And the attack in the barn.
That feels personal, insidious. Points back maybe to that first murder, to the map, that someone wanting something specific from her land. It feels like a campaign to overwhelm her.
Which brings us to Jamie's advice, which sounds, well, suspicious in hindsight.
Right. He tells her to sell the ranch, says land values are falling because of the war, and reveals someone wants to buy her land.
Convenient.
Very.
Yeah.
And then almost immediately after, this huge range fire nearly burns down her house.
And Nacho finds an empty oil can nearby. Deliberate arson.
No question. Maddie immediately suspects Lieutenant Morris, the Confederate who took her horses.
So what did this fire really reveal?
It confirms her fears. These aren't random events. It's intentional, coordinated. Someone is actively trying to drive her off her land.
Jamie's advice, the mystery buyer, the fire. It all smells like conspiracy.
Exactly. Who benefits? How deep does it go? It's clearly not just about land values anymore. It's about something more valuable, more dangerous, something connected to that map.
And through all this, she has Winona.
Yes, Winona.
Yeah.
Her cook, her companion, initially enslaved, someone, Andrew, apparently won in a poker game.
Which is just awful, but their bond becomes incredibly strong. Maddie keeps trying to free her legally.
But the laws at the time made it so complicated. Their relationship really speaks volumes about the era, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, their bond forms out of shared vulnerability, mutual respect. It goes beyond that legal status of slavery. Maddie's efforts to free her show individual compassion, hitting this wall of rigid legal and social structures.
It shows Maddie's evolving morality, but also the limits of empathy back then.
Precisely. The system often overruled basic humanity.
And that bond gets severely tested when Nona faces these accusations of witchcraft.
From Isabel, the preacher's widow. Very rigid, very pious.
She calls Winona a witch, demands Maddie kick her out, and connects it to Tonio.
Yeah, Isabel had earlier spread this story that Tonio was supposedly defrocked, kicked out of the church years ago for stealing gold from a mine.
So she's stirring the pot, linking Winona and Tonio to witchcraft and stolen gold. What does that reveal about the community?
It exposes all the underlying fears, prejudices, superstitions that were just rampant in these frontier places. Isabel uses those fears against Winona, who's already vulnerable.
And it casts more suspicion on Tonio, too.
Strategically, yes, linking him directly to this mysterious gold mine again. It just shows how easily fear, religion, social norms could be twisted and used as weapons against anyone seen as other.
And adding to all this pressure, Winona is pregnant.
Right. And desperate not to give birth on the roadside, it just adds this incredible layer of urgency and vulnerability to their situation. It's desperate.
The stakes just keep rising, which leads us to some pretty huge revelations about that mine. Tonio finally confesses his real past to Maddie.
Yeah, this is a big turning point. He wasn't actually a priest.
No.
He was helping a priest during a terrible drought down in Chihuahua, found a map and writings from this dying padre.
The map that led to Mockingbird Spring.
That's the one. It led him and a group of starving people on this desperate 12-day journey right to Maddie's land, basically, to Mockingbird Spring.
So what does this confession do for Tonio's character?
It confirms he wasn't driven by greed. It was survival, desperation, trying to save people. It also absolutely confirms the mine exists, and it's dangerous. Changes it from rumor to deadly reality. Maddie has to rethink everything about him and the mine.
So they find the mine after this journey, possibly Spanish, maybe older, found milk-white quartz. Sounds like gold-bearing quartz.
It does. But the discovery led straight to horror. Tonio came back from scouting or hunting.
And found his people slaughtered, scalped by Indians.
Yes, just horrific. And in his grief and rage, he blew up the entrance to the mine with dynamite.
Trying to seal it off.
Trying to seal it, maybe destroy it, maybe keep anyone else from suffering for it. But tragically, that explosion inadvertently killed Diego Ramirez's mother, Rosita, who must have been nearby or involved somehow.
Oh, wow. So that connects back to the man at the window.
It seems so. And that's why Tonio burned Diego's map later, the one Maddie found. He did it to protect Maddie, refused to redraw it, said it was just too dangerous.
How does this trauma shape Tonio's actions from then on?
It completely explains his conviction that the mine, whatever gold it holds, only brings death. Burning the map, refusing to redraw it, he understands the curse, the immense danger tied to that secret.
It recontextualizes Diego's death, the map. It all ties back to this massacre and Tonio's desperate attempt to stop more bloodshed. He knows the real cost of that gold. But the danger doesn't stop. It gets closer, horrifyingly personal, right on the ranch.
Yeah. Julio, Nacho's son, found hanging in the barn.
Just awful. And at the same time, George Washington, their prized stud horse, is killed.
Shot through the eye. Just like the calf Maddie had found dead earlier. A clear signature.
But then Maddie has this chilling realization about Diego Ramirez.
Right. The drawing she'd made of him, the one she showed around town asking if anyone knew him.
It didn't match the man who actually appeared at her window that first night.
No. The man at the window was older, bleeding from his temple. The boy who died in the barn, the one she drew, was younger.
So what does this discrepancy mean? And what's the message being sent with these murders?
The murders confirm Maddie herself is now the direct target. The killer is sending a brutal message. Terrorize her, maybe drive her out. The discrepancy about Diego, that's a huge twist.
How so?
It means there were two men connected to the map who died that night, not just one. Maddie was fundamentally mistaken about who the first victim even was.
So the conspiracy is bigger than she thought.
Much bigger. More sophisticated. Who else knew about the map? Who was the older man? It massively complicates everything. Who was really after the mine?
Facing all this, Maddie does something incredibly audacious. Desperate.
Yeah, she decides to rob Andrew's stagecoach.
To get back her papa's money that Andrew basically controls or stole.
Yeah.
And she plans to use Andrew's own revolver.
The irony. And adding another layer, she's secretly pregnant at this time.
Which only Winona realizes after Maddie faints while planning the robbery.
She actually goes through with it, this harrowing robbery attempt, but she finds she can't shoot Andrew, not at first.
And then tragically, during the ordeal, she suffers a miscarriage.
Yes, but the book describes her feeling this strange sense of relief. that Andrew could no longer claim a child of hers.
How does this whole episode define her transformation? It seems pivotal.
Oh, absolutely pivotal. Robbing Andrew is this raw act of agency, a violent rejection of being a victim. She's embracing a darker, more decisive version of herself.
Taking control in a way.
In a very dangerous way. Right. And the miscarriage, while tragic, becomes this perverse release from Andrew's potential future control. It hardens her resolve, I think. Prepares her for the final confrontations. Shows the immense toll his abuse took.
And the confrontations keep coming. Isabel whips up a mob, Indians, Mexicans, Anglos, a frightening mix.
Yeah, demanding Winona be handed over as a witch.
Nacho tries to intervene, confuses them a bit with a half-truth.
Buys them a little time.
Yeah.
But it's Maddie who pulls off something incredible.
The exorcism.
Right. Totally ingenious. And theatrical. She uses an account book like it's a Bible, a soft tallow candle, and some kind of trick, perfectly timed, to convince the mob Winona is pure.
What does this crazy plan say about her skills, her leadership?
It's Maddie's most audacious moment of social defiance, really. A masterclass in thinking on her feet under insane pressure.
Shows her intelligence, her courage.
And this unexpected theatrical flair. She manipulates their own beliefs, their superstitions, uses them against them, protects Winona, not with violence, but with sheer cunning.
She conjures a solution out of nothing.
Pretty much. It cements her as a leader, someone who can navigate these incredibly complex, dangerous social dynamics. Amazing.
Just an incredible series of events. She really had to think on her feet there. So all this danger, all this intrigue, it finally leads to some stunning revelations.
Yeah, Maddie goes looking for answers. Ends up at Fort Fillmore talking to Brigadier General Canby, head of the Union troops.
And gets the shock of her life.
Totally. Lieutenant Tyler Morris, the Confederate, she's suspected of the killings, the fire.
Turns out he was actually a Union spy. Trained by Canby himself.
Exactly. A double agent, basically. Confederate spy working for the Union. Or maybe triple. It's confusing but shocking. How does this unmasking reshape everything for Maddie?
Well, it completely overturns her assumptions, right? It just highlights how deceptive wartime allegiances were. Enemies appearing as allies. You couldn't trust anyone.
Right. The threats she faced weren't just random violence or even simple Confederate action. It was something much more tangled, more insidious, more personal maybe.
And then Jenks's confession later really pulls back the curtain further.
Ah, yes, Jenks. What exactly did his confession reveal about Morris's role and just how deep this conspiracy went?
It connected all the dots. Jenks admitted Morris wasn't just some officer caught up in things. He was a cynical manipulator.
Driven by what?
Gambling debts. Crippling gambling debts. Morris had pushed Jenks to try and buy Maddie's ranch on the cheap.
Okay.
Morris deliberately fanned the flames with Isabel, pushing the witchcraft accusations against Winona.
Wow.
And Morris was the one who pressured Diego Ramirez, presumably the younger one, into sharing the map, which Morris then wanted entirely for himself to pay off his debts.
So it all boils down to greed and desperation tangled up in the war.
Exactly. Pervasive opportunism. Personal failings blowing up into murder and conspiracy. Devastating.
Right.
And then, just when you think it might be over, the ultimate confrontation, Andrew returns.
Just when you thought she was free.
He tries to reassert ownership over Maddie, over the ranch. And he cruelly uses Zia, Winona's daughter, as leverage.
Threatens Zia's life, forcing Winona's hand. It's terrifying.
Tonio jumps in, tries to intervene, gets shot by Andrew.
No.
And in that desperate final moment, Maddie gets her hidden pistol and shoots Andrew through the throat.
Finally. What does this final showdown mean for her whole journey?
It's the absolute culmination, isn't it? Andrew returning forces that direct confrontation with her past tormentor. No escape this time.
Winona struggles, Zia's life on the line, Tonio being shot. It all pushes her past any final hesitation.
Her shooting Andrew isn't just self-defense. It feels like a definitive severing.
Exactly. Cutting the ties to that abusive past. Violently, irrevocably. It's the moment she truly finally claims her freedom from those shadows.
What an incredibly intense climax to that part of her life.
Yeah.
So after the dust settles, Maddie and Winona bury Andrew themselves.
Hacking through that hard, iron-like New Mexico clay.
And Maddie has this profound internal shift. She used to dream of going back east, right? St. Louis, Philadelphia, civilization.
But now, she starts to embrace New Mexico. What's the weight of them burying Andrew together? And what's happening inside Maddie?
That act of burial, just the two of them, it feels incredibly symbolic. Like they're jointly breaking free from his shadow and literally rooting themselves in this hard new land.
Putting him in the ground there.
Exactly. And Maddie's internal shift, it shows this deep psychological change. She realizes her strength isn't about escaping the dark place anymore.
It's about leaving it behind, right where she is.
Yes. It was not having been in a dark place, but leaving it that matters. That quote is powerful. It's self-acceptance. Resilience found not in running away, but in standing her ground.
And she finds her home there, in those witching mountains around Mockingbird Spring.
She does. She decides to stay. The ranch starts to thrive. The community rebuilds, grows. Nacho gets married. Zia takes her first steps. There's life continuing.
Antonio.
Tonio quietly leaves, leaving Maddie there, thinking about the mine, its dangers, its possibilities, but also connected to this wild landscape that's truly called to her.
So what's the ultimate takeaway from her decision to stay?
It really emphasizes her triumph, her self-acceptance. Those mountains, first seen as harsh and rude, become symbols of her own resilience, her own wild freedom.
She's claimed them in a way.
She has. Staying, despite the mine's lingering danger, shows she's fully embraced this new identity, this chosen path, the thriving ranch, the community. It's the tangible proof of her hard work, her strength, forging her own destiny right there in the wilderness.
An incredible transformation.
Truly, we've really unpacked Matilda Summerhayes' journey from that constrained Austrian past, the abusive marriage, to becoming this incredibly resilient ranch owner in, well, the chaos of the New Mexico territory.
Her story really shines a light on the huge challenges, but also the unexpected opportunities for women out west then.
And the complex loyalties, the betrayals during wartime, and how secrets, especially big ones like a gold mine, can just reshape everything, expose all sorts of hidden dangers.
You might wonder how she found the strength for it all.
Right, and it seems it wasn't about escaping her past. It was about facing it, transforming it, and choosing her future on her own terms in this land that, maybe surprisingly, called to her.
So what does this all mean for you listening?
Yeah, think about it. In a world where identity, survival, maybe even immense wealth all intersect, what would you do if you were faced with a secret, something that could bring fortune but also deadly peril right to your doorstep?
Forcing you to question everything you thought you knew about the people around you. Something to think about.